The Omicron variant is spreading like wildfire throughout the U.S. Yesterday, we learned this variant now accounts for almost 3/4 of cases here in the United
Dr.
States.
Mary Hayden with Rush University Medical Center joins us now to discuss this more. Dr. Hayden, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so when we initially booked you to be on the show, we planned to talk about the Delta variant. And since then, Omicron is, I think Joe Biden said it's accounting for about 3/4 of new cases right now. Give us your understanding of how concerned we should be about Omicron versus Delta right now.
Well, we do know that we're learning a lot about Omicron every day, learning more about it every day. We do know that Omicron spreads more readily than Delta, which is not a good thing. The severity of illness caused by Omicron versus Delta is still not completely understood, but I think we need to take Omicron very seriously. The biggest concern is its ability to spread more rapidly and its ability to evade some of our immune protection. So, for example, the vaccines that we've been administering for COVID are still effective at reducing serious illness and hospitalizations and death due to Omicron, but probably at a little lesser extent than they are effective against Delta. And then some of the treatments that we have for COVID, including some of the monoclonal antibodies, are not effective against Omicron versus Delta.
Thank you for clearing that up, Dr. Hayden. Let's talk about the fact that a lot of people are panicked right now. There's a lot of unease ahead of the holidays as well, because we know people want to get together with their families. What would you say to anyone right now that will be hosting a Christmas gathering, any type of gathering with their families, to do it safely? What would you say to them?
Yeah, so first I would say I think it's very important that we connect with our families, with our friends. This has been a really difficult couple of years for everybody, so I completely sympathize with everybody who wants to do that. And I think we should just try to do it very safely. The good news is that we know how to protect ourselves from Omicron. It's the same way that we protect ourselves from Delta and from other variants. So if you're going to be gathering with family and friends, I would suggest that perhaps you try to keep the gatherings a little smaller than you might without the pandemic, that you try to meet in a well-ventilated area if possible. I know it's difficult in Chicago in the winter. We're not going to be meeting outside, most of us. If you are meeting with groups that you haven't, or individuals that you haven't met with for some time, particularly if anybody in the group is immunocompromised or elderly or otherwise at higher risk of serious disease due to COVID, or if people are unvaccinated in the gathering, then I would suggest that you also consider taking one of the rapid antigen tests like immediately before the gathering. So it doesn't really matter if it was negative 2 days ago or a day ago. You really want to know what it's like, what the result is immediately before the gathering, and that can add another layer of safety. And finally, I think that if, again, you're gathering with individuals with whom you are not members of your household, and you're not eating or drinking, that you do consider masking, particularly if you're meeting with folks who as I said, are at higher risk of serious infection due to Omicron. So you consider masking when you're not eating or drinking. But I do think it's really important that we connect with each other, and that we really try to enjoy the holidays.
Very good. Sensible advice there from Dr. Mary Hayden with Rush University Medical Center. We appreciate your time, and happy holidays to you, Doctor.